Mixon out of the backfield, has some daylight, hurdles to the end zone, in for the score, and he took a lick from Miles Jack, but he hung on.
I had a lot of mentors playing and coaching. I learned a ton, and then one of them, I won't say who, told me that it's what you learn after you know it all that counts. So you're always constantly learning, either getting better or you're dying. Who's going to be the starter? They tell us by their play. Simple as that. So that's just the way that the league works.
Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. If you're new here, this is a Bengals channel where we talk about all kind of Bengals news, interviews, analysis, film, all of that. So if you're new here, please feel free to subscribe. If you don't know where that button is, there's a button underneath this video that you can check to subscribe. It should be red. If not, we have a link in the description. But welcome back to the diehards. I appreciate you guys for holding me down. I appreciate you guys for being here and supporting me this season. As you know, we have also dropped the New Stripe City hats, so please be sure to check that. We have a link in the description for our black ones. Limited quantities are available. You can pre-order those. We truly appreciate that. Everything that you do helps support this channel, so I appreciate you guys, especially my day ones. So if you do want to support the channel, please be sure to do that. We also have the NSC mugs as well if you're a coffee drinker, so please be sure to hit that. And then we also have the Fanatics link, which we are affiliate with Fanatics, so any kind of Bengals gear that you get, and even if you're not a Bengals fan, maybe you might be a Lakers fan, maybe you might be a Browns fan that has seen me on AFC North Talk, please be sure to hit that link. Anything that you purchase using my link, no matter what it is from Fanatics, definitely helps this channel out. So let's get into it. We got some news today. We got some great news today. Frank Pollack, the former Bengals offensive line coach who went to the Jets when Zach Taylor first took over. A lot of us, we couldn't understand it, but he's been brought back. That's right. Frank Pollack, the offensive line coach who we love, has been brought back. Now, Frank Pollack, it was kind of weird, right? We kind of got a stipulation where we heard, he walked away. He was, told that he didn't have a position. We never really got clarity on that. But one thing that we do know about this is that Jim Turner is out and Frank Pollack is in. This is a great hire for the Cincinnati Bengals, right? I think a lot of people wanted to try to go out and get, myself included, wanted to get Bill Callahan. The thing was, we didn't know what Bill Callahan's contract with the Cleveland Browns was. And if they were going to go that route, they should have done it last season when he was a free agent after his tenure with the Washington football team ended. But the Bengals didn't do it. They stuck with Jim Turner, and they were in an abysmal situation this season. We all know it. The offensive line was bad. Bengals had to do something and make a move that would essentially fix that problem, right? And it makes sense because not only did the offensive line suck, but the run game sucked. So they're actually bringing Frank Pollack back in to do the same thing that he did with Marvin Lewis his last year. Be the offensive line coach, also be the run game coordinator. When he was let go, Joe Mixon was so upset because not only did he help the offensive line, not only did he make that offensive line not as weak as it was play better, he also helped with the run game. That has also been a struggle for the Bengals. And in order for them to compete in the AFC North and move forward, they have to have a decent run game. So he's going to be doing both of those. Now, I know that there was a lot of our fans that wanted the great Willie Anderson to take up the mantle of the offensive line coach. Me and Willie, we have talked all the time. We are in constant communication. It was something that he did think about, right? It was something that Big Willie, he's heard all of our fans talking about, hey, you should come in as the coach. But from his sentiment, he wants to be in a position where these offensive line coaches don't think that he's in there to undermine them. And I can't blame him for that because you're talking about a guy who should be a Hall of Famer. That's another video. We'll talk about that. But you're talking about a Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl caliber tackle coming in and doing things his way. That can make a lot of offensive line coaches feel threatened. And to be honest, it's not a coaching staff per se that he's familiar with. So he has connections with Marvin Lewis. He has connections with Paul Alexander. He didn't really know where he would stand with Zach. He didn't know what kind of things he could get from Zach. So it was something that he was interested in, but one of the things that drives him in life is giving back, and giving back to young offensive linemen with his academy. And so those are things that he had to contemplate giving up if he were to take a offensive line coaching position with the Bengals. So those are things that were at play as well. But you will hear more from us with that. I'm working with Willie behind the scenes with his YouTube page. And then we're also going to rev up some of his offensive line academy things. But the best role, I think that if the Bengals did want to bring in Willie Anderson, making him an offensive line consultant. Make him a consultant. You don't have to make him a coach. He can come in, give these guys some work, let him come in during the summer. That's something that you could do. Now, it depends on what his relationship with Frank Pollack is like. I haven't talked to him about that, but this is a huge move for the Bengals. Either way, they're getting a guy in Frank Pollack that has a relationship with some of these linemen from the previous tenure and when he was last here. So it'll be interesting to see how that crosses over, because he was indeed the guy, I believe, that handpicked Billy Price. He did go out and co-sign Bobby Hart. So we'll have to see what he does moving forward. We do have Jonah Williams. We do have a top 5 pick that could potentially be spent on a lineman. So he's going to have a lot on his lap coming in here, because he's got to look in free agency and bring guys in. He's got to teach the right technique. He's got to marry his system with Zach's. And that originally was one of the reasons why they said that this wasn't going to work. They didn't see their two philosophies working together. I think that they can get it to work together this time. So we'll have to see what that brings in. But Frank Pollack, this is a home run hire. I think it's a home run hire because you couldn't get possibly Bill Callahan. So if you're not getting Bill Callahan, I don't know if getting his assistant offensive line coach is going to work per se. They also still have Nick Martin, who is the assistant offensive line coach. So I would assume that maybe Nick is familiar with Frank and maybe they've had that dynamic before, but it's just a familiar situation. And it just was a perfect storm because with Adam Gase getting fired in New York with the Jets, that just opened the door kind of for this Frank Pollack reunion to happen. So it has happened. As you guys know, there's other spots that are open on this coaching staff. You're talking about the defensive line. You're talking about several other areas. We will be covering them here, so please be sure to stay tuned for that. But let me know what you guys think. I really, truly, honestly want to know what you guys think about the Bengals bringing Frank Pollack back for sure. I think that it's a slam dunk. I think that it makes sense. Does it automatically fix the Bengals offensive line issues? I'm not sure. Frank Pollack was a guy that was big on Bobby Hart, who they have to make a decision on in this offseason. But Bobby Hart really had a good season this season, according to Pro Football Focus. So we'll have to see what he does with this line, what pieces he moves around, whether they're going to keep Billy Price, whether they're going to move on from some of these guys. We'll have to see. I have no idea. I don't know anything about what they're doing right now. So it's kind of a wait and see kind of thing. But this makes sense. Jump on an offensive line coach immediately. I think they also interviewed another guy, if I'm not mistaken, last Friday. But clearly they had their eyes on Pollack, and clearly this could be a move from ownership bringing Frank Pollack in. It's interesting because they said that Zach Taylor would have choices on the staff. I'm not sure whether he had that or not. I'm not here to speculate. But I think overall that doesn't even matter. This is a great move and something to move the Bengals offensive line into a positive direction. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And as usual, I'll leave you guys with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday. Peace.
Mixon out of the backfield, has some daylight, hurdles to the end zone, in for the score, and he took a lick from Miles Jack, but he hung on.